Crunch time, coming up big when it counts.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Crunch Time, where we come up big when it counts. I'm Dom with the Great Man Sauce, Luke and Anthony. How you going, boys?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, Doma. Back for
Can't
week
complain.
2, Crunch Time.
Yeah, week
Episode
Round two.
So pumped. Good reception, boys. And thank you to all the Crunch Time family out there that listened and supported the pod and shared us out there and gave us some love. We really do appreciate your love. So, any opening remarks from anyone before we get straight into it, gents?
I'll start. I just wanted to quickly off the top. I've made a lot of good friends in the hobby in the last 6-8 months, you three, and one person that I consider a good friend, Sports Card Tom. Unfortunately, his father passed away. I just want to say rest in peace, and my prayers and condolences are with him. He's a great guy. He's a good person to follow, but more importantly, prayers are with him, and wish him all the best, type of thing.
Yeah, condolences to Tom. Really good guy. Unfortunate to hear. I hope he's doing all right.
Most definitely, condolences from all of us. And I was just saying to the boys, I've had brief interaction with Tom through Clubhouse, listening to him have a chat, and literally had a bit of communication with him. And he's just a lovely person. So all the best here, Tom and the family. Alrighty, let's jump into it, lads. Botting in the hobby.
We've seen since last week's show. We've had the drop. We've had the hoots drop.
I know that there could be a few in here that may have been a part of the sneaker culture, have been involved in sneaker culture, are in some Discord groups that were card related that had sneaker people come into the Discord group, infiltrating it. Speaking of one person, the Great Man Sauce, and he's made everyone aware of it. So, boys, let's get into it. Botting in the hobby. What does it mean for the hobby in general? And then we'll discuss and answer the question that every Australian collector is asking: why can't I buy cards off my pre-order from an EB or a Zinc? So, botting in the hobby. If someone wants to explain what it is first.
Look at angry saucy.
Hey, for the record, I ain't angry. I'm just fast, baby. I got 10 blasters. I got 10 packs, and I done it manual. So don't come out here. You know what I mean? You got to be fast. Unfortunately, that's the game we're in. And being in now, it's gotten to this point. Being in this sneaker game, and learning those skills and just understanding of setting up your Chrome tabs and all these little sneaky tricks that they know to autofill and all this stuff. So that definitely helps. And so I mean it is annoying. It is super annoying, but unfortunately I predicted this way back when I seen it. First whiff of it was I seen it happening in America. Obviously off their Walmart, off their Target. And now at the time, for the record, on my sneaker Discord group that I'm in, they had monitors on Walmart and Target in America, right? And you could see Mosaic blasters, and I would always click on it and it would always be sold. It's chopped up by a bot in a second, and I was like, man, what happens, I don't think that will come here, but what happens if when, Zing starts doing their pre-orders and people, because they only make you pay a fraction of the box, right, till you get the final box, people can wear that $10 per box instead of paying the $40 up front, you know what I mean? Hey, you drop $1,000 or whatever, however many you can get. I know a guy who got 100 boxes on pre-order. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it's just what I seen happening. I just seen it happening because these sneaker guys were just becoming aware of literally how wanted these cards were, and as we've spoken to Chris previously, and he tells us the secondary market for sealed wax is undefeated. So, like, if you're getting it at retail, like, there's no way you're literally going to not make a buck because someone's buying that. And it's just been like that for ages, right? The margins of how quick it grows has been exponential in terms of, like, from release to 6 months later, it's crazy. Before that length would take a bit longer before it would rise up in price. But, man, pretty much if you get stuff for retail and you hold that for 3 months, you 3 times your money pretty much.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, as someone that was in sneakers, I was there doing the lineups, and then the bots came, and basically wherever the money goes, bots are gonna follow. It's just part of the competition. You can't really get angry at it. You can't really you can be annoyed at it, but you have to understand that this is the way it's going to be from now on. If you thought it was hard 6 months ago to get product, now you're going to deal with, computers, and you're going to deal with bots, and it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be tough, and it's part of the game. It's part of the game, and it's part of the world we live in. What I do want to say is, if you do manage to get product now, and like you said, manually, it actually becomes even more lucrative. Because the way I picture these bots working is they're going to try and sell off for a big, for a margin straight away. And then the prices straight away we're usually buying to flip, it's not going to be as big a margin off the start. As we get later on, a year down the track, especially for products like Prism. Prism's going to be a bloodbath. But especially for a product like Prism, holding Prism wax is going to be king, because I don't think people that are behind the bots are in this for a year. They're in this for getting that, making the flip and dipping out. They've got no interest in being collectors and investors in the cards. They're interested in the wax. So
I was just thinking, if that's...
Yeah, you say that, Anthony, but I see...
You reckon they're going to hold for years?
No, I don't know for years, but I see them dabbling in the cards, getting cards and opening packs and stuff, and they like flipping the cards, and, I was speaking to some of them today. We were actually in a voice chat in the Discord, and I was just telling them, how I was buying all this vintage stuff for, buying literally vintage slabs of guys for $50, $60 US, and now literally selling it for $300 US.
Wait till those boys come to card shows, because think about it, at sneaker shows you could carry 2-3 pairs, 4 or 5 pairs, maybe you take a truck, then you got 20 pairs. If they've got the capital from that, they bring it over, and you can carry 1,000 cards easily into a show, set up and start selling from there, wax from there. A box of cards is nothing compared to a sneaker, maybe 1/10. Wait till they bring all that to shows, and then you're going to see like the magnitude and the impact that they have. I think it's going to be tough for people that are trying to. That's been their bread and butter, buying a box and opening one box, and it'll be tough.
What are you going to say, Luke?
What I was going to say is like the reaction we saw in card groups and stuff like that towards people then flipping their boxes. Imagine that was for hoops. Imagine when it comes to Prism and Optic and some of the, select
Luke,
even.
Tell them about
people,
what we seen on card in some point posted literally straight after the thing.
Straight away. And just to rub salt in as well, he goes, to all the people who were too slow, here are my boxes. I've got 100. If anyone wants some, I couldn't believe it.
The absolute knackers on that guy must be hanging to the floor.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't believe I'm actually reading this. Someone's actually posted this. Oh my god.
Oh, it would have got flamed.
Oh, he absolutely got flamed, and he took it down, and it was pretty. It was, look, I'll be honest with you, it's pretty funny. But we see this all the time, like, and we've even seen people selling, like, for instance, one of the best wax things I did was when Nolan was buying Don Russ 1920 hangers in Kmart for $20. I would go in there, see 5, and I would buy all 5. And I just sat on them. I sold a whole bunch of them. I flipped them for 45, thinking, I'm making $25. Yet do we realize what happened later on, which luckily I didn't sell some, is that you can still get a Kobe Auto redemption in there, or possibly a Kobe Auto, if it's a high numbered variant, sticker. And, we've seen what happened. And, that box now that I paid $20 is now worth, like, $200. But it's what happens with every box. You know what I mean?
I want to be clear, but and this is something I'm really, I wouldn't say passionate about it, but it's something that I can't stress enough. I'm never going to be angry at someone trying to make money. You know, I'm never going to be like someone's trying to get that money. Like flippers and people that buy, is obviously circumstances. But if you see packs and they're available and you don't buy them, you're leaving the bag just the same way if you buy, Lucas at 2K and he turns it to Derrick Rose. You're holding the bag. Why would you leave that bag? Get that money. If you feel like you can make money on something, I see no problem in it. Well, of course, ethically speaking as well. Like you don't want to be buying up things that are unethical, and there's always circumstances around it. But yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
The way I look at it, I'm just like, angry or not, people are going to do it, so it doesn't really make a difference. I'm just wasting energy.
If it's not you buying it, it's going to be the next guy. Yeah, like you
exactly.
realize that. Right. And now with these sneaker guys in there, it's even more competitive. Yeah. Like you just, if you see the packs, buy it. And now, like I don't sit here like I can't blame the people if you buy it and you beat the other people and you flip it, right? Because that's me, and I flip some of my packs. But I also like to rip some of my packs, But to me, it's dumb to rip all your packs because you could potentially spend 500. Like for instance, I bought 7 Donruss Optic retail boxes. 7, right? Through pre-orders at Zing, everything. I ripped 4 boxes. My best card out of that, till this day, is a DeAndre Hunter auto. That was my only good card. Other than that, some base rookies that I got like a purple variant of Tyler Hero, if you can call that a good hit. Purple Optic Prison variant. And I was like, whoa, I got 3 sealed boxes here. I'm like, why am I going to open these and risk it? And I ended up selling them. And I'm dumb for not holding them because I sold them for $360, thinking I make money. I bought them for $160. Now they're worth $1,000 each.
I've been saying it. If you're buying product, try buy 3. If you're able to do it, buy one to rip, buy one to sell for a flip, and buy one to hold long term. Why not? We all know that.
I know that's your strategy.
Wax
you did that
is the
with
way.
World Cup.
Yeah,
the World Cup soccer, right?
It just makes sense. Honestly, that it makes pure sense to do it that way. I understand the frustration is more there in this discussion about like the bots taking it opposed to someone getting them manually on a drop.
Yeah, I took that conversation.
No. But what I was actually going to lead into where you've taken it, because there's no point also people getting upset post a pre-order once the product comes out on the secondary, because that price that is reflected on the secondary market, unfortunately, is created by people like us. We create that. It's not like Panini go out and say the secondary product is worth this much. Someone dictates the price, and it's a flow-on effect from the person that lists it for fucking 500 on the secondary market. And then everyone goes, oh, yeah, if he's listed for 500, I might be able to get 6. One's like 550. So to an extent, we're also the people that purchase it on the secondary market for that inflated price, just so because they've had FOMO or they missed out in a pre-order. Unfortunately, we're the ones to blame. Like that's just how it is, because we're dictating the prices as a consumer at a consumer level, not as the wholesaler. The wholesalers put it out there. If you can't get it at the wholesale price, we're the ones creating that.
This goes this like the people that are complaining unnecessarily extends not just to wax, because they're complaining about cards in general. I've seen like a lot of people, and shout out to the Sasha. Like I was watching his video today, and he was saying it. He said it perfectly. People complaining about flippers and people trying to make money off cards are the same people that didn't buy cards when they were worth, 40, 50% less. And they've been this collector for 25, 30 years. And all of a sudden, all this new blood comes in and they're buying up cards and they see how they can flip and take their knowledge from the sneaker game, or take their knowledge from just in general, and they're buying up cards at 1,000, knowing that it's going to go to 3, buying up cards at 100, knowing that it's going to go for 5, and they're just sitting there complaining about it, not getting involved in the action. You're missing the bag. It's just, and then you're complaining about it and try and make us feel guilty.
I think we'll leave it on this note as well. In a few groups and stuff, this is more of a. I'm not going to speak on the American market because we don't live that because we're here in Australia. But based on people that do live here in Australia, it's more predominantly, and I'm not having a go. It might sound like we're having a go, or I am, but it's more predominantly in the Pokemon or TCG scene where I understand you've probably grown up with Pokemon or something, and I think sport card collectors understand it a lot more because it's happened to them previously to people that were in Pokemon. It was a flow-on effect from sports cards.
Yeah.
But this is just, if you listen to this and you're one of these people, this is education for you right now. And the sooner that you actually understand and accept this, the better it is for you when you see a pre-order to try and get in and get your product. So the people out there that complain that, oh, this is crap, why can't I just go into the store and use agent and get the packs like when I was a kid? This is bullshit. Leave it for the kids, my kid wants it. I'm sorry, those days are dead. They're gone.
It's done.
It's finished. You want to do that, you go buy a bloody, like...
Oh, you can still buy Yu-Gi-Oh at the store.
No, but you can go buy a Sword and Shield Galar tin for $11, and it's the worst product if you want to do that. But if you want your ETB, like Champions Path ETB, Shining Fate, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Just literally give it up. Like, that's it. Like,
I got 10 blasters, 10 fat packs, and 8 of them I'm giving for under what EB. Okay, I'm putting up $15. We've all shared it. Like, I want to give back as well because I would manage to get some. There's something that I would happily give if 8 kids all were unable to get it, and here, take it for 15. Like, there is an element of you can give back as well, especially if you manage to get a big pre-order, give a couple away.
So 100%. It's good.
Source actually mentioned this on the Double Coverage podcast, which will air before this. So it's like, if you're listening to this, but he came up with a good thing as well. And he was saying it for the kids. Yeah, they're the ones really in the end of the day. If their parents can't get them the product, they're missing out. And credit to you, Ant, by doing something like that. It's good to give back to the hobby. And Source actually said he's going to try and make up some Saucy packs. He's got a lot of base that he's got, and he's just going to grab them, make some packs for some kids.
I'm in on that. I'll send you some for sure. For real, I've got a whole stack of base. I'll definitely send you some stuff.
Respect to you, boys, man. That's really good. And I've got some Hoops Premium base. Obviously, did a rip, and I'm pretty sure my sister, who I did the rip for, she'd be really keen to donate that. And I've got some base as well to give to your Source or Ant, whoever, man. But this is the whole thing. It's about giving back to the community. So props to you, boys, and fantastic. Next up, NBA cards in decline. Luke, do you want to start on this? You saw some cards declining, and you wanted to address it with us. NBA cards are dipping.
The modern ones.
But even some vintage card source. Let's just take the holy grail of Jordan cards. Has gone down a shit ton in the last.
I think the one I saw was LeBron Chrome. Yeah.
We heard some interesting things, Doma, about that Jordan PSA 10 86 clear card. And it would make sense that it had a crazy drawback after supposedly being sold 3 times for 760,000, according to Golden, and then Heritage obviously selling it for 680 or 600.
680. It was a 682 or 642. It was like $100,000 less.
Close to
but so the
grand,
card, but I think there's a lot going on.
You reckon the person that bought it at 680 got a steal, or do you reckon the person that bought it at 738 they overpaid?
basically overpaid, and I think it was more for a status thing to say they have the most expensive one, as we've discussed.
Timberland got that.
Uh,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
One of
so
them.
Golden actually said in the live that the person was going to come on by the end of the month. Obviously, the investment happened for Golden, and then Timberland was on, and he was obviously the famous person that didn't purchase one of them. But as Saucy is saying, the word of what we've got, the rumor on the street is that there's a fair few of these as a 10 in circulation on auction that will not be selling because the price is too high at a 10, which it's the most coveted thing at the moment. It's not. They're struggling to sell. So I don't know. As we keep saying, it's never going to crash, but it does ebb and flow, and eventually it'll correct itself. And I think that's what's happening with this Jordan card. Because you got to remember, we're from 200K. Shout out to Hoj and Josh at the crossover. They actually discussed it. How it went from like $120,000 card or whatever it was, $90,000 card to $200,000, which is fine. And then it jumped $568,000 on the next sale.
Yeah.
Like that's triple and a bit on like what it was originally worth off its most recent. So yeah, I can understand completely. But Luke, yes, get into this. Topps Chrome is
The example I had was LeBron Topps Chrome 2003 in a PSA 10. Shout out to Card Ladder for the great graph they've got here. 9th of Feb, 43K. Down to the 22nd, which is what? Yes, 2 days ago, 32,000. That's a pretty...
Sorry, was that the refractor?
No, that's
That's
base.
just the base.
Just base, yeah. And we'll have a look at 9 while we're here.
I just think, personally, Source will probably back me up on this because we love LeBron. But
9 and a 9's down about 2K from that early Feb sort of.
I just really think LeBron is undervalued. Like, we're talking about a guy here, which people are saying he'll never be the GOAT, but we're happy to settle him for second spot in the all-time chat. But he's still playing and breaking all the records, and his cards are worth less than Kobe. Do you understand? Like, and the narratives that people are putting out, like, it's mind-boggling. Like, you do realize LeBron's still out there. We watch him every night. And
could win this year.
He could.
Correct. I just don't know on LeBron. I just reckon any buy on LeBron, I'm not saying go and buy it now, but $32,000 on that base, and that is cheap for LeBron. That's cheap. I don't know what the pop is on the 10.
2,000.
2.5.
I think it was 2.5 or 2.9 on the 9.
Now,
Can you have a look at?
one I want to bring up, and you think, his card shouldn't be going down, and I hear people saying things like, you never sell Kobe, or right, but there's always an option to sell every player. Now, if you have a look at the PSA 9 in the Topps, the base card, there's 8,000 at pop, 8,300, so that's quite a bit, right? And its previous all-time high, which was on the what's that? The 8th month.
What card was this for?
Of last year, the Kobe Topps 138.
The paper one.
The paper one,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the all-time high was 1,500. Now, we've seen recently it's pulled up to a new all-time high of 17 or nearly 1,800. But as soon as it's hit that all-time high, people have started selling off. And now it's already dropped down to, 1,300, 1,350. So you've lost $500 of steam. And now there's been a little bit, in the last 2 weeks, it's actually negative 17%. So I think when stuff starts to test those new all-time highs of a card like this, where there's 8,000 at pop, when people see that could potentially, like, you got to remember, if you were ahead of the curve, you could have been buying this card for sub $500 around Christmas time last year, right? Knowing that Kobe's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, right? They're now selling for what? 1,700, 1,500, for 3 extra money, and people are going to start selling off regardless. Yeah, and some people are in this card for have a look at some people that are still finding this card. Like a good friend of mine, Rad Ripper Sports Cards. He opened up a whole folder, a whole box, and he just had all these Kobe rookies in there. Like I'm sure there's more people out there that probably got cards that I don't even know or haven't even looked for. And there could just be more popping up of these. Like it's high in the pop. I understand it's Kobe, but still, like I just think even with Kobe, there's people selling off the card because they know that there's a lot at.
But it also is because it's a lot of money. Like if you got in, like you said, sub 500.
Yeah.
Now it's at what it's at. Take the bag, take the profit, and see what you can do with that.
See, if you bought three of those, then you would have, then you'd have 3K coming out the other end. And then you can use that card to maybe even buy a Kobe auto if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What if you had those from a long time ago and you've just been holding them for 10 years or something like that?
Well, that's exactly right. There would be people out there like that too. So I just think it's interesting. We're seeing something similar with the PSA 8, where the PSA 8 has never gotten over 1K, and that's why I took the option to sell my BGS 8.5. I told you guys I bought it for 200. I sold it for 850. And I just was like, it's never ever gotten past 1K. Like the PSA 8's never gotten past 1K. So why would the BGS 8.5, which people perceive as lesser in the hobby, why would it get past 1K? So I just can't see it getting past that 1K, especially at that grade. And I was like, I think there's a point where people have a sell off on this, and the market comes around when the attention isn't on this sort of stuff. And you could probably buy one cheaper. Does it get down to $200 again? Maybe not. But I could see the card getting down to 400, maybe a little bit under that. Yeah, I think it can. I think it can get down to that, and then you can buy it again. Like I just think with every card, because now there's so many flippers in it that always looking to flip cards. There's always people selling, and it's people when they see 3-4x their profit, like people are going to sell.
But I think this is good. I think it's a natural correction. I think every market needs to have that. You don't want it to tank, and you don't want it to go up too quickly. You want it to be, it sort of goes up nice quickly and then comes down a little bit. And I think, LeBron, like I'm looking at the 9.5 now, and the 9.5 just hit. It did tank a fair bit. It hit 20, or hit just under 20, and now it's at. It looks like last sale was 10.6 for LeBron 9.5. Yeah, so I think people start to buy up as it starts to go down, and we saw it with crypto yesterday on just a small micro level. Like every market has this. What I am worried about, and if we're going to go back to things dropping, the high pop, riskier stuff, like when you're talking about base cards of Trae Young and the base cards of Luka Doncic and the base cards that have these wild pops, especially for cards like you talk about cards that people are finding. These cards can still be pulled. People still have boxes they're just going to rip. Breakers still have product readily available. So those cards I do worry about, because it's going to take a lot for. I know Luka hit the game winner today, but it's going to take a lot for his card to go past where it was. I think it hit 2K, and then how does it get to 2.5? Especially over when you look at the Mavs look a bit dicey, and they're going to need to make a playoff run for him to get to that height again, especially on base. Now, if you separate base from those low serial numbered cards, I still think those keep going up. I think that they have little dips like the LeBron, but they do gradually get higher and higher. So that's my theory on it.
I agree with that. I just think with all markets, as you said, you got the stock market, you got the crypto market, and now the card market, especially now with like fractional purchases of cards, high-end cards, it's going to balance it out and make it like a crypto market and a stock market in terms of, I agree with you, ebb and flow of a card. It's going to go up and have its high points, whether it could be a Hall of Fame or a documentary, and I get that. But sometimes you don't. That still shouldn't. That should be irrelevant because it's like a Kobe, Jordan, or LeBron. They don't need a documentary or a Hall of Fame induction to literally affirm anything that they've done in their career. But that's just the way it actually trends because people see it and go, oh, now it's the time to sell it because everyone's watching the documentary. Like, you wait till this AI documentary comes out, you're going to see the same shit with Allen Iverson cards. It's going to go through the roof for like 2 months, and then it's going to just drop either back to its median price or below the median price, and that's when you go in and buy into it. But because eyes are on that card, then you'll be able to buy and sell it much easier because people are aware now of all the Allen Iverson cards to collect.
Yeah.
That's what these documentaries and Hall of Fame inductions and game winners and all this stuff does to certain players in the hobby. It just gets more eyes on them because flippers or even just buyers and or people that want to collect it, but collectors for their PC, you know, all the eyes and all the attention goes on, and that's what happens. But one thing, I know sources can give a bit more insight into this. We said we were going to talk about this for ages, and we never got around to doing it. But what was a good buy is now not a good buy. But it just shows that great cards, and sources always said this to me. He goes, Dom, if you ever see a card that's nice and has a nice design, like an old vintage card, if it's a base card, you should buy it. I'll give you an example, like 1991 Skybox Jordan. It's the 39 card. There's a PSA 10 on here. This is just an insert, just a base card. $700 AUD on the buy it now, yeah, for a PSA 10. These, by the way, when I bought the Jordan USA Magic versus Jordan card, all in the same set, well and true, like that Jordan card was probably about $120 for a PSA 10, and it skyrocketed with the Jordan thing. But Source actually says, even if you don't want to flip it, and you can get graded cards on some of these old sets, yeah, like now this is perfect to your question, Luke, with the LeBron. It does ebb and flow. But before, like, you can go buy these cards at a PSA 9 or a BGS 9.5 or a PSA 10 or a BGS 10 for nothing.
Yeah.
Literally, you pay, it costs you less than the grading to buy these cards. Like the Jordan, Source was telling me.
I think, you know that 1990 Fleer Jordan where he's like dunking and it went off and there's like so many graded, right? I was literally buying PSA 8s of that card for like, I won an auction for like $12, right? It was a PSA 8, but like, stuff it, right? I got the card and I kept it. I won a PSA 9 auction for like 25. And you know that card for some reason now is like selling for 150. It's just but my thing is like those vintage guys where it's a nice looking card, cool action shot of either Jordan. You've got like Magic Johnson and some of those older guys. That's where you could have been like people. I don't know why people weren't like buying.
I get more excited about those little flips, like taking a $10 card and knowing if I just like hold on to this for a little bit. If it has a moment, it's going to jump to 150. I'm going to sell. I
sold one. I bought two of that 1990 Fleer. I sold the PSA 8 and I put the PSA 9 in my PC. This is what I do. I buy two of the card. Same with the Tiger Woods card. I showed you today. I've got two of it. I'm planning to sell one. Like, I mean, I've seen they've gone up recently. Unfortunately, with his, what's happened with Tiger Woods. And like, I mean, people are paying now $600 USD for it. I'm like, what the hell? Of course I'm going to try sell it when I bought it for $80 USD. So like, and then you keep the other one in your PC. So like that's what I try to do, especially with some of these cards. So
those little flips, keep it doing. If you get in the habit, like I know all of us do it, but for everyone listening, if you get in the habit of just making those 10 flips a week, that's a lot of money. 100%. That adds up a lot, and then you just start doing it on a bigger scale. You start doing with riskier stuff. Literally, that's how I got into the hobby, buying KDB silvers and trying to flip them for a bit. And then one of them you lose. You lose a little bit. You hold it for too long, you lose the money. Move to the next card. That's the beauty of cards.
Don't worry, I've done that, Luke. I bought a card at $100 and literally sold it at $40 because I was like, this card ain't going to get back to $100.
I've never said this, but now that we're on the top, my biggest L by far, right when I got into the hobby it was the bubble and TJ Warren was popping off.
Oh, you should have been listening to us, man. You should have been listening to us. You weren't on us early, man. We were bagging the shit out of that guy.
I was like, let's just, why not? If they make the playoffs, they'll have a bad little, I'll flip it. That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna buy it for 70. I bought a $70. I think it was green prism, whatever it was, raw. Didn't know anything about raw and grading, whatever. It was banged up corners. Anyway, bought it for 70. Tried to list it at 150, and then it just tanked. I don't think I can sell that for $10. I still got it.
It came up against Buckets, man, and Buckets schooled him.
Buckets.
I was very close to doing that with Gary Trent Jr. as well.
Yeah.
during the
So
bubble.
that green prism
and
now
I
is
waited out and
worth $7.
yeah,
$7 US.
I waited to the off season, picked up some nice stuff, and now I'm pretty happy.
Far out. That's like that. I had a. Well, it's not really an L. Well, this could be an L in the long run, yeah. But I sold during the bubble.
Oh yeah.
Jokic base.
Oh,
Prism rookie base, not silver, and to sweeten the deal, I sold it for $260. I bundled it with rookie base Prism Donovan Mitchell.
That's...
no!
And at the time, fucking big boy movement said to me, and he said it to me and John when we caught up. He said, "Whatever you fucking do, Dom, do not sell Donovan Mitchell. He's a baller, man." And I was just like, nah. It's too good to be true. This form, like, fuck. The Mitchell's the one I'm kicking. The Jokic is whatever. That's his base card. He ebb and flow, whatever. But the Mitchell, it's like...
Yeah. I got a bit greedy on mine during the bubble and I held it, and I think it's not a bad move at the moment.
Which
one?
He
looks good.
Mitchell.
Oh,
yeah.
Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing really good. All it took was Shaq to bag him.
Yeah.
Oh, real.
And I don't know if
turns
this
it up.
passed you guys by, but that TJ Warren green prism selling for $7 USD now.
Yeah.
I'll take it off your hands.
I'll sell it. I'll give it for free. We'll put it in your saucy packs. I'm out of that. That'd be the hit. That'd be the hit of the pack. I'm in for that for real.
Oh my days, bro! That's just so unlucky.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in a bigger sleeve with another sleeve with your business card and saying this card came from Collector Neck.
And then I'm labeling a Jimmy Bucket's son. That's I'm putting on the bloody.
Such a rookie move.
Hey, you learn.
Yeah,
you
it
learn.
happens. It happens.
But that's the beauty of it. You learn from that.
Yeah, ball in a scrimmage, dude.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's probably this is no bullshit. Like, I don't know why all these stories are coming out tonight, but my first ever card sold on eBay is a green NBA Hoops ball to someone in America for $30. I listed it up. I went to bed. I wake up and sold. I didn't even know anything about cards. Just sold them. Like, that's weird. $30. So
that's ridiculous, man. Like, it's that hype thing of a guy. Like, THT did it in preseason.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he can play, not to the level that LeBron reckons he can play. He's like fucking the goated one, according to LeBron. But
to a bigger point, but with card prices now, we're in the part of the NBA season that no one really cares at all.
Crap. This is actually the time to actually buy some of those other guys that you think are going to do well in the playoffs.
This is what it's actually the next thing I was going to say. Do we think that attention is going to start going to the ultra modern now? Personally think it will, especially, the All-Star reserves were announced today. The starters are out. As the run into the playoffs heats up, they're doing the play-in game as well again this year. Yeah,
yeah, they are.
That'll make it a lot more interesting too, I think.
It's not just that. It's more for the hobby as well. Because we've got to realise that Prism's actually coming out later this year.
Yeah.
Than
So
last
that's
year.
where the hype will come from.
This is where, honestly, my advice personally, my opinion, if I'm telling people, yourselves, and also to the listeners and the people that want to watch this, honestly, go look for guys that you think are going to do well in the playoffs. I'm not talking about if Luka makes it. Don't go freaking buy on Luka because he's the guy. I'm just saying, those fringe guys that you think could step up. Don't go nuts and put $1,000 into it. But I'm just saying, look at these guys, and then when Prism comes out, see if you can find some of their Prism cards. If it's a rookie and you think they're going to do okay in the playoffs, try and get that Prism card for that rookie. It could be this year, last year, year before. But the thing is, as Saul said, the hype begins around sports cards the moment Prism drops. That's the product.
Yeah.
Low key, Damian Lillard.
Oh, Source can tell you heaps of stories about
Yeah.
D.
Damian Lillard, when I
That is one of the
saw
best
his
sales
card
I've
at the
ever
all-time high when he dropped back-to-back 50-point games, yeah, no worries.
If there's anyone that's going to have like some random 3-game run where he drops 60 points and like game winners after game winners, you know that boy. Like
Well, what's he at the
he's
moment? Saucy, I see you on the computer over there.
Yeah, I'm looking for you.
Oh, I'm with you, Ant. Oh, completely with you.
9.5 is going for. It was at one sold last week for 490, 9.5.
Nah.
Think
Wow.
about that. That's in the 2012 Prism set.
Jeez.
I reckon that's a good buy.
I reckon that's a decent
This
too.
airs in 2 days. Yeah, I'm going to be buying
Yeah.
some. That's for real. Full disclosure, I'm buying some. That's a steal.
Yeah, 490, and then there's been another couple sales of 600, then another sale of 625, and then
Oh,
another
that's
sale of
unders,
700.
Dude, that's already unders.
And a PSA 10's 1500.
What would I tell you if I
1500.
bought that card at 285 way back?
You got it?
I sold it for 1300.
Yeah, that's smart. Smart move. Smart move.
Mate, yeah, that was awesome. Yeah,
I'm nearly at the top of the middle finger graph. I'm nearly at the top. No, I'm not quite. I'm not quite. You know, Lamin's middle finger graphs that he puts up. I'm nearly at the top.
yeah.
I'm not quite at the top. The top sale on that card was 1780. I didn't quite top it, but I did pretty well, I reckon.
You did well. You did very well.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we will definitely keep getting into our chats in future weeks to come in this podcast. But let's finish off now about either a set to. This is a segment called Set to Collect or Card to Collect. So, based on what we're seeing at the moment, thoughts, boys. Just one card or one set or something. Any genre.
Who's going first?
I'll kick it off.
Kick it
No.
off.
I'll do
Well,
it. I'll do it.
You got it
cheaper
there,
one.
do you?
Of course.
What the?
To be honest, I
It's
ordered
come
this
prepared.
3 months ago and it came 2 days ago.
Oh, perfect timing.
This is a Sir Alex Ferguson
Oh.
2001
All right. I'm buying
Upper
that.
Deck card. And
Very nice.
just take a guess how much I bought this for.
Oh, you bought it for like 20
few
bucks.
$1.
$1. Jeez.
I'm leaving.
I saw these for $1
Thumbs out.
in the UK. He shipped them over in not even penny sleeves, so he shipped them over in this, and
Good
bought
man.
it for
I
a
think my
buck
wallet's
each.
out
Bought
of
6 of them. Three of my closest friends are United friends. I'm gonna get them slabbed up. They can get them next year. Whatever it gets, it gets. But like they're in good condition. You're talking about the greatest Premier League manager, arguably of all time. You know, there's going to be a documentary at some point about that United team, those United teams. Him telling off Beckham, that goes back to like last week's point. But that's my card.
That's a great buy.
I like
Bro,
it.
you got to source me one of those cards, Ant. I want one. As a
You want
United
one?
fan, I want one.
I get a
Source
great
me
and send
one.
it your way.
And bloody oath, I'll pay you whatever you like. I'll pay you $1.50. If it gets a
Profit is profit. I'll give you
Nah, just kidding, bro. Just kidding. I'll-
$3. $3 for a PSA thing.
Bro, oh. Yeah, in when? 5 years when you get it. Nice. That's a sick card, man. That is a sick card.
All right. Who's rocking off next?
Here you go.
Source is
So-
going to say Andrew Wiggins or some shit.
Oh, no, not Andrew. Hey, don't laugh because I sold that Andrew Wiggins. Look, it wasn't the biggest return, but I still made $30 on the card, and I'll still have a PSA 10. So if they can sneak into if they can get to the playoffs and there's some hype, that will go up. All right. So the play is still alive, Doma. The thing that I'm worried about is I've got 8 sitting in my cards account. I don't know what to do with them. Should I ship them back here and try to sell them, or just put them up on eBay as a lot in America? I might do that. And just get rid of all of them. Just ship them out. Anyway, back onto the topic. So I've gone. This is non-sport related. This is we talk about we're talking all collectibles here on Crunch Time. So the set, we've seen what's happened with another iconic superhero series in Marvel and how that's taken off. And it got me thinking, well, there's not only Marvel, right? And I had this thought with Doma, and Dom put that across Doma. And I started looking into it. I'm like, let me look into it, Doma. Let me try to figure out what would be the set. And the other superhero franchise, main one, is DC Comics. Obviously with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the likes, and a few others in there. And I've traced it back, and I'll put this website in the show description so you can even go have a look at all of the sets that this person's put across on their website, on a website called cosmicteams.com, and it's got every checklist of DC Comics cards that were ever brought out. It's got all the sets and a checklist for it. And there are some cards before this, but there was no official set. So a lot of their cards and things before this were like stuff that came with like a loaf of bread, or stuff that came with these were stamps. Then there's other ones that were stickers that came with a bread. There's ones that cards that came in a pack of crayons, right? So there was no official set. So my thing is, I want to get the first official set, like that Marvel set. What was the first official set? 1991. And the first official set, coincidentally enough, is the Impel DC Cosmic Cards inaugural set. That's what it's called. Now, on eBay, you might see they label it 1992. On this thing, they have it as 1991. From what I understand, even on eBay, people are labeling it 1992, but it's still the same set. Now, for the record, I happened to buy a set for $105. I bought the whole set. Now, my thinking is, I looked at the Marvel set when it was $100. I discussed it with you, Anthony. I got in your DMs, and we had a chat about it. You knew a bit more information about it than me, so I was asking you some questions. And I looked at it, and it was $100, and it was a buy. And I was like, at the time, I was buying Kobe cards, so I was like, putting all my money into that, so I didn't think about it. But I was like, for $105, I bought the whole set, and now that's with the holos. There's 11 holos, and there's 180 cards in the set, or 10 holos and 180 cards in the set, right? You can buy just the base set, literally, now on eBay for $25 US. There's heaps on there. Now, when you think that Marvel was $100, and even what were you buying them at, Anthony? Marvel base set?
50, 60.
50, 60?
Down to like 30. But
Down
Impel,
to 30.
I just thought of it now. Impel are the same people that made that set of Marvel. It's actually called Impel Marvel Universe.
There you go.
So there you go. I didn't put that two and two together, even when we talked about it.
So what I'm thinking is, it's called inaugural set. So that's like the first edition main set of whole set of cards that they've brought out. So I just think at that price point, it's worth a gamble. Like $25, even if you don't want to spend $100 or $120 to get the whole set like me. But I just thought it was such a good opportunity. And we've seen what were the cards that demanded the most money was the holo cards in the Marvel set. And those holo cards at one point you could buy for cheap as, people were selling the whole sets of the holos for like $600-700, just the holos. It was bananas, right? So, even if you could pick up some holos of out of the set for I've seen some going for $5-10, $7 for like a holo out of the set, $10. Like, it's worth going and buying some of the holos, a few of them. Like, I just think it's such a low risk opportunity that why not, man? Why not? And like we've seen what happened with Marvel, so why wouldn't something happen with Superman? Like Batman, Superman, they're both iconic. Wonder Woman's definitely iconic, and now So, hey, it's good. It's just a cheap play, man. Like when I looked at it and it was that cheap, I was like, you know what? If I actually get stuck holding these cards, I'm not fast because they've literally cost me $150. Yeah, like. And worst comes to worst, what's to say that I can't resell it again for $150 the whole set if it doesn't become anything? Like, I bought it for $150. Maybe there's someone else there. Maybe you lose $30 on the set if it doesn't become anything. But I'm telling you, if you're listening to our podcast, you've got an advantage. We ain't got no pull on the market. We ain't get the listenership that is going to drive the market. So go buy this shit because it's
not yet. We'll get there.
But go buy this shit seriously because all it takes is one of those other guys from the bigger podcasts or someone else to mention it. Maybe Gary Vee gets
Sports card
asked
investor.
gets asked about it on his next overrated, underrated, and good night it is. And that's the market we live in at this point. So getting in at this price point is just unbelievable, to be honest.
Rate that.
It's good.
Luke,
yeah, I'll go next. Mine's definitely not as special as your guys. Mine's just Optic 2018 soccer. I think Optic's probably my favorite. This is just a thing about me. Optic's probably my favorite card across any sport. I love 18. And especially with soccer too. Looks great. The set's really good too. Like you got a Sancho rated rookie, Foden, Vinicius. Who else? I think it's an early Werner as well.
That's a good play.
Yeah, I think it's an early Werner as well, my guy. Fernandez, it's an early card for Fernandez too. I think going into the latest parts of the season and, the Euros and the Copa America coming up, especially Neymar holos are so cheap. Like it's not an early Neymar card, but I think it's a cool looking card for me, especially the one in the Brazil kit. If you can get that in a holo they're selling for I think $6 or $7 US. Like they're nothing. And they're just sick looking cards to me. And I think they could be a play if you want to resell them. But if not, if you just want to collect them, I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, Optics is a solid set, man. I reckon. Yeah. I just think with the clean borders, it just translates to any sport. Like, it's just a clean look. I like Optic. That was literally the most product I bought out of basketball last year. Was Optic.
Arguably the second.
Yeah, well, we can have that conversation all day about Select and Optic, and obviously we know Prism's never getting dethroned at this point. But yeah.
Never know.
Hey,
like
know what?
I like it.
There's some quality cards in there. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Mbappe just sold PSA 10 for $350 US.
Mbappe holos in that are pretty sick too, especially if you get one in a France kit. I reckon the Euros is going to be pretty big.
So we've
been saying this for a while.
So what would you think, Luke? What would your suggestion be? Would you be looking at potentially getting guys that are going to play a key part in their national setup going into those cups, and then leading? Because when you play those cups at the end of the year, the season sort of comes around quick. You play those cups, you don't really have much time off, and then you're back into the season, and then it's a World Cup. You know what I mean? So this is gonna be rapid stuff for the next 16 months in soccer.
It is, yeah. That's spot on.
It's gonna be nuts, bro. It's gonna be so exciting.
The short gap. I don't know what's gonna happen with the market though, because if you think about it, we saw what happened with Mbappe after they lost the Champions League. His cards fell off a cliff, really. And then it took a while for it to come back around again. And then, I don't know if we're going to see that sort of dip off after the season finishes, just with all the hype coming literally straight away after the season. I don't know. We might see a little bit of a drop off, but still something I'm trying to play out and trying to think about and see what to play there. But yeah,
it just depends on how close. I think Optic's such a good play.
Yeah, Optic's sick.
Some nice cards, man. I'm just scrolling through here. There's sick cards in here.
And at the moment, we go back to, the peak of what soccer was in what? When was that peak? September? August? Those Optic cards.
Yeah.
Werner Optics were base Optics were $60, $70. Now I sort of guy struggling to sell one for 10 Australian the other day in one of those groups.
Yeah, but you need to be wary of that sort of stuff because it's not too dissimilar to you think even though LeBron James, it's LeBron James, we've seen the run up on his Optic Donruss 2018 Optic Lakers rookie, same photo, his thing. And, I got suckered into that. That was one of the cards that I bought. I bought a PSA 9 and, unfortunately, I seen a 9 sold for the other day literally for $25.
Yeah.
And
I'm using... Sorry,
and I just think you need to be mindful with some of the base cards. If anything, if it's not a rookie variant of their card, I would be trying to get the holos or the colored variants.
Not
more rarity to it.
Using Werner as an example, though, it's I think it's 2018, so it'd be I think he has a Topps Chrome, which might be 2017, so it'd be a second year card, first year Optic. For soccer, it's the only Optic set.
So we're not going to collect Cristiano Ronaldo first Juventus kit cards from that?
If you got they actually sold for a bit. I was looking at Topps Chrome. I thought that was a sneaky play, the Topps Chrome one.
Just a quick
It
question for
would've gone
you.
in
Who
Yeah.
did Timo Werner, was his first World Cup in 2018?
18, yeah.
Look, not for anything. If anyone thinks that this guy's actually good, why wouldn't you go buy his PSA 10?
You just said,
2018
look, you
World
just
Cup.
said it's his favourite player. And you just said...
I'll tell you what. I've got to stop
No.
defending. I've got to stop defending.
No, I don't think you, no, I don't
He's
think
pushing
you
it.
should. I actually rate
Yeah,
him.
but I'm just saying the card itself, and it's his first World Cup card, and we've talked about this topic of first World Cup. Germany aren't a shit side, right? There's potential that they could actually do something at the next World Cup, and he could have a major influence. And they're in the Euros, right? That
And
card,
the
sold
Champions League.
that last sold for $94.
He hasn't
PSA
had
10.
There was a lot of expectation going into the season, and he hasn't delivered this season, which is it's
Not
been
yet,
hard on
but-
that front.
yeah.
But you never know what could happen.
No,
Last
it
few
takes
games
a
he's
while
been
for
alright.
guys to step up in
He's
the
looking
Premier
up.
League, mate. It ain't a cakewalk league, mate. Like,
It's true.
It's
true.
you see it so many times. Guys
Yeah,
come from
you
the
do.
Spanish league. They dominate in their positions in that league. They come to the Premier League and they struggle.
It's a different game.
It's very true. 100%.
I want to know quickly, how much is a box of that?
2018
Oh,
Optic.
Yeah, like that might be the...
Oh yeah, so the Blaster
Not even
box is
that.
185 last sold.
But is that Optic or Donruss?
Oh, that's Donruss. My bad.
I can't even see it on any of the major, like Blowout and David Adams. I was just on there. I can't see it. Optic
It's all been
Soccer
ripped, mate.
Unless Optic was
in Donruss?
in Donruss. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm thinking.
I think maybe it was. It's just like Chronicles. You know, how Chronicles and pops out
Yeah.
just random shit.
Yeah, maybe
Innit?
that's what it is.
Interesting. Because that's low-key cheap. That's a low-key cheap little wax to rip for yourself. That's low-key not bad.
We like it.
Donruss
All right,
Soccer.
I'll rate it.
that's everyone's plays, Doma.
No, I've got to give mine the greatest one.
Oh, here we go. Oh shit.
Dustin Martin, 1,500 for his. Nah, just kidding. So,
Dusty.
funnily
Listen,
enough,
listen.
in Clubhouse, I was educating some people about Aussie rules football. So, for the American listeners, that's our native game here in Australia. They wanted to know a bit more about it. So, Dustin Martin, the card is a 2010. Where is it? I've got it up here.
Team coach.
No, not
2010 team coach.
I wish, bro. It's the.
That's what I used to
2010
collect.
Yeah, but the all gold cards of like team coach, they go for like $100 raw.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah, like 80 to 100, depending on the player.
I used to just collect team coaches because it was literally what everyone else used to collect, and I just used to do that at school and
And it was
shit.
$3 packets, man. It's like,
Yeah,
Of course.
if
and you
you
could get
could
them
trade-
everywhere.
Yeah, and,
Everywhere.
like, play with their stats against each other.
Yeah. You know,
I
I went to the petrol station last week. Oh, not last, it was a few months ago now, during the footy season, and they were selling them at the petrol station.
They still got
And
them at mine. I should just buy the whole.
Yeah. I went home. I'm like, Dad, imagine how many packs of footy cards I would have got if they were selling them at the petrol station. Because, you know, like, these are some of the
Yeah.
news agent. You got to go to the news agent. It's a bit out the way. But if they're at the petrol station, like, your parents have to go to the petrol station.
100%.
Imagine how many packs I would have got.
$3 packs. They were so affordable. But this
Yeah.
was a Dustin Martin. This is not the pick, by the way. It's just the story. No, it's just the story behind AFL cards, and I'm going to get into why there's a play here. Dustin Martin, 2010 draft pick signature card. All right, it's a DP3. That's the number of the card. This one's numbered 83 out of 400. All right, so there's only 400 in existence of this card, of his rookie. Unlike American product in Australia, Select has the rights. They're the only ones that make the card. Okay, so there's 400 of this Dustin Martin. I could have bought this card with Source online. We were looking at it. I think it was $140, $120 a month and a half ago. It's currently listed at one sold for 600, mind you. It's currently listed here. 2 days left on bids at $749. There's two other listings. One's at $1,100. One's at $1,500. They're the other two listings. Now that's not the play.
Wow.
The fact of the matter that I'm trying to get across
Pointing out is
the pop is 0.
No.
So what I'm trying to tell everyone listening, if you're Australian AFL cards, the pop is 0. Now I'm going to actually get onto my play. This is a Matthew Pavlich year 2000 draft pick, on card auto. There's only 638 cards made. That's it. All right. So I'm just explaining when Select does it, they're all on card. They don't know the concept of stickers.
I was going to say, I've never seen an AFL
Right.
card with a sticker auto.
So the play is 2002 AFL, the Super Draft. All right. James Bartell, Luke Hodge, Chris Judd. All right. You can pick up all of those cards for $180 or less. On card autos, all numbered to 600. Pop is 0 on all these cards. There's only 600 made. The pop at a 10 is either going to be 600. If PSA grades, it'll be 600. Or it's going to be less than 500 on a pop of 10. The pop of 10 potentially on these cards, when we can start getting them graded, could be less than 50.
I think it'll be less than that, Dom. I don't think. Honestly, I reckon out of 600, I reckon be lucky. You know, that's
Yeah,
old.
that's
Pretty
what I'm
old.
saying.
I reckon
Could be
be
less than
lucky to get
50
like
on a 10.
50 to get a 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If every single one got
Yeah.
graded, who knows
So-
how many have lost?
So the play is the AFL Super Draft, which is the year 2002. James Bartell, I bought one this morning for $50 on card.
Rookie auto.
Rookie auto. Luke Hodge, rookie auto. That's at about 140. There's one listed. Best offer that. You'll get it down to 120, 115. Chris Judd, you're not going to get a best offered less than 150. Source
You're not going to
try.
bet a best offer less than 105 because I already tried to best offer it
You
for
idiot.
105 and he got
Peanut.
auto reject.
But the whole play is the pop is 0.
Hmm.
The number on the back of the card, which I can show you on the Pavlich, is 638, as you can see there. That is all they make. Now, to put that into perspective for AFL listeners, you can go buy a Matt Rao card, number to 125. He probably would have had some more autos in Supremacy or Legacy.
Yeah, because they
But
do
number
more
to
sets.
number to 125, that card is selling for close to $450. And he's accomplished jack shit because he's played 5 games of football. James Bartell's won a premiership.
And a brown.
He's got a Brownlow.
Two
Luke Hodge,
premierships.
2 premierships. No, I'm just saying they've got premierships.
Mm.
Hodge's got premierships and Norm Smith's. Chris Judd's got Brownlows, premierships. That's the play. My play is AFL vintage cards is exactly like NBA vintage versus modern when the whole bubble started.
Alrighty.
Strike
I rate that one.
hot, or you're going to be fucking sitting in the lurch once Sauce and I can hopefully convince someone that we know to grade some cards. And,
To PSA,
Honestly,
to PSA
I know nothing about AFL, but I'm
I
interested.
don't know much about the market. Would people be after graded cards though, or are people just happy with their raw in the AFL market?
well,
Like the pop is 0.
well, the funny thing is this Pavlich is only worth $180 Australian. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen a card in like a Supremacy. It was a redemption, and it was listed on eBay. I was just scrolling through and I was having a laugh. And there's one of these actually on here for $180, Matthew Pavlich. But this redemption card was selling for $3,500, and it was just a Pavlich auto. I've got his rookie auto.
Mm.
Like,
This is what we're trying to say. Rookie autos in AFL, some of these guys, because, you know, if you go back too far, you can't find rookie autos. But if you go back early 2000s, you find stuff of guys. And, you know, some of the stuff is cheap. Like, you know, comparatively, you know, you've got cards these days, and it's not, you know, if we're taking the same aspect of people valuing, you know, you only get one rookie, like, release, that's it. Everything else after that is, you know, there.
base. You can go get base and stuff.
Right.
Like for AFL, that is just all base.
It's just, I just think it's interesting. Like, does that transition of NBA cards, similar thought, come towards AFL cards? People that collect AFL cards, maybe now guys who were younger that were into collecting NBA cards, maybe they transition, buy some AFL cards, and they bring that thinking. I don't know, but the fact that you can go buy, you know, a Pavlich rookie auto for less than a current day product released just last year, and it's not his rookie at all, and it's like 4 times the amount. It's
I think
ridiculous.
PSA do grade cards because
So I've seen some people send them in.
There's-
No, they
I
do.
think someone
There's a
getting knocked
Dustin
back
Martin.
once.
There's a Dustin Martin here.
Yeah.
This is just the dominance. You know, the base cards are like numbered to
Yeah,
350.
Yeah.
What year is this? 2020. Oh, he won the premiership last year, but that means nothing. Like whatever. LeBron won a championship last
The
year.
COVID premiership as well.
Yeah, the COVID. What? Yeah. So it was like it's a PSA 9, numbered to 300,
What's the list of that?
$150. That's not his rookie, and it's at $150. I could have bought his rookie for $120 a month ago. Like, technically, if you put it into perspective, if you grade a 10 on that Dustin Martin rookie, and at the moment it's a pop 1 count, if it gets a 10, if you're fortunate enough to get the 10, it's going to sound ridiculous, but it's not ridiculous. The card's worth over $10,000, maybe even more. You can ask whatever you want. You can push for 25, 30. This is arguably a guy. I'm talking about Dustin Martin now. Arguably a guy that is the LeBron of the AFL. He's pushing to be the GOAT. They're saying if he wins another flag, if he wins a Norm Smith in that flag, he'll go down. He's already touted as the greatest finals player ever because he's the only player to win a Norm Smith in every grand final win.
I'm a Richmond supporter, so I'm very biased here, but yeah. Go on.
I'm not even a Richmond supporter, but I've been looking at AFL more unbiased, and I can be unbiased and sit on the fence. I go for North Melbourne and we're shit. So, that's what I'm saying. I look at the AFL now the same as NBA and NFL. I just reckon, and I've said it a million times since we started our podcast, and now I'm saying it on this podcast, the market I've seen since I'm a kid, when I went to card shows, it was 75% AFL, 80%.
Wow.
And I'm not saying the rest was NBA. The first times I started seeing NBA cards was really when Grayson and Cherry started putting up stalls. Like,
wow,
it's AFL galore.
It's true.
That's my play. 2002 Super Draft. It's 2002 signatures.
Yeah,
Okay.
rookie
Draft
signatures. Draft
When
signatures.
people from the States, they ask, like, oh, what's the biggest sport? I usually just say basketball, but it's because I don't know enough about that AFL market.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people like AFL. Like,
In terms of collecting, it's definitely NBA. 100%.
Yeah.
They were shocked. I was explaining to them, they're like, oh, who's this Dustin Martin? What's the pop on that? And I said, the pop's 0. No. You drug. I said, the pop's. They said, it's
0.
They're like, I can get it here for $99. I said, what year is it? They're like, 2013. I said, 2010, man. This is the card. They were shocked. Oh, that's what I'm just saying to you guys. Like, I can go see if I can get that Jimmy Bartell card graded if I wanted to. And technically, whatever it is, it's a pop 1. And I can flog it off for whatever I want. Really, that's the play. Like,
back to Dusty, if that's a pop 1, you know what Richmond supporters are like. They'll pay.
But this is the thing here as well in Australia. AFL clubs, especially Victorian clubs, have cult followings.
Yeah, that's what I
mean. So if you go get a Judd rookie, even that you know he's in West Coast colours, what's to say someone that loved him at Carlton goes, oh, that's his rookie.
Yeah.
And they want it. Yeah. Luke Hodge, Hawthorn, Victorian team. Bartell, Victorian team. You can go get Nick Rewalt for $200. Saints are diehard fans. That's
Buckley.
The play. Yeah.
Buckley's
expensive though.
He's expensive.
He doesn't have a rookie, does he?
No, I don't think so.
He's too old. So you can't go back so far as that, but you can go back and still get nice cards and stuff. Like some of those vintage premium guys. Yeah,
you can get Ablett Jr.
They're a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, and Senior, Senior's got some cards in there, and they're quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Carey, they're all worth something. They're worth a lot, but my whole thing is like they're all raw.
Yeah.
So even if you buy it at $4.5K, that's raw. No matter what you grade it for, you're automatically going to add money on top of it. Whether it's $1,000, $2,000, or a couple $100, you're always going to be ahead in AFL, regardless.
That's
literally,
very interesting.
That's the scary thing. You will always be ahead. I don't know. So that's my little thing to drop. So
I rate it.
I just got educated on AFL. I got a lot of names to Google right after this.
So AFL's not very big over in Sydney, is it?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. Look, there's
NRL
Sydney
more.
Swans.
NRL more though over there.
NRL is definitely
huge.
More.
Yeah.
But the circles and friends that I'm with, like we're all soccer.
Soccer, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very. I only went to with a couple of uni mates. Went to one AFL game. It's a very good game to watch live, but
Yeah.
I don't follow it enough
Yeah,
to
fair
know
enough.
players and everything.
Fair enough.
So you're gonna have to educate me. I'm in for an investment, but just from a pop standpoint, like why wouldn't you?
I think it's interesting.
It is.
It is interesting.
Yeah, we've seen it. And look no further than like the dominance card selling out. In 2 minutes
Yeah.
from select, and the supremacy set selling out in like 3-4 minutes. Like
100%,
these
man.
these are sets that sat on Grayson's shelf for 6+ months previously.
Mm.
Yeah, you can walk in there and buy a box. Like even that stuff's not sitting on there. You know, or what does it tell you about all the people that now want AFL cards? You know, like think about it. People maybe they were into NBA cards. They're like, I would have got my AFL team. Like,
fuck. This is like it's so ridiculous, man. Like, how can you go
That's
get
huge.
Dustin Martin? It's a fucking base card, number to 60, 15 to 60. It's got 13 watches, $1,283 or best offer.
What?
Like,
What
I know
year
it's
is that?
listed. It's not sold for that. It's
Yeah.
2020, but I understand it's.
And it's got
15 to
13
60.
watches.
Yeah, I understand it's 15 of 60, and there's only 60 made, but it's a fucking base card.
Mm.
I
yeah,
have to do my research.
we'll have to see. That's right. But we're just saying, stick to the man. You can get the rookies. You can get the rookie signatures, and they're affordable, super affordable.
I like the rookie
I
orders.
like it, Doma. You've spoken to me about this before. I like it.
I put my money where my mouth is, and I went and bought a thing. So I went and bought one from the series. I got Bartel. I got a plan on that, but if people who actually listen to us like AFL, they're probably fucking my plan's out the window, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. Just people got to wake up to it, I guess. But yeah, that's it. All good picks.
Done.
So we had some soccer cards in there, DC cards, AFL cards. Nice stuff, boys. Crunch Time 2, done and dusted. I think we ran a little bit longer than last time, but great discussion, boys. And till next week, it's been Crunch Time with Dom, Anth, Sauce, and Luke. And we're coming up big when it counts for us. So thank you very much and peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of